Conquest Episode 7. Let's go, everybody. That was really quick. 6 Frozone is what you're watching. I forgot that I kind of started that one and then just went right into it. But that's, just to give you a little insight, that's probably about as quick as this match is going to be. It's a good ratio equator, if you will. As always, my name's the Colonist, and this is going to be a great episode. Give a little action for you. Let's bring you up to speed storyline-wise. This is the 7th edition of CIW Conquest. The first one that we've aired on Velocity since, or the Velocity Arena, since the last pay-per-view that we had. All heading up towards the next pay-per-view that we have, which is October 3rd's Harvest Havoc. Now, I need to find where I put my notebook, which has all the stats, so pardon me one moment. Okay, let's fill y'all in on... First of all, for those of you who are just joining us for the first time, welcome to Colonial Impact Wrestling. This is the 7th episode of Conquest. I recommend you watch everything from the beginning, honestly, because there's no reason not to. I mean, it's a good way to get a little insight into what we do. Here comes Frozone. And let's give Frozone stats here. Frozone is 6-5 in his CIW career, and 6-Pac is 0-1 after debuting as Dave Chappelle's mystery partner against the Shades of Black in the Tag Team Championship match, which happened at Oblivion. Obviously, they didn't capture the championships. The Shades of Black are still in control, both Neo and Riddick, but this is just going to be a nice little XYZ match, or at least XYZ type match for you. And this doesn't really have any interesting anything in it, to be honest with you. This doesn't really have any implications is what I mean. There's really no implications for this match. This is kind of a throwaway match, so I was like, you know what? Give 6-Pac a match, you know, do that kind of stuff, and, you know, we'll see what happens. So, the other thing that's new as to what's happening right now is that we do not have any Al Snow tweets of the day because Al Snow is taking a really long time to make them up. So, we're just going to try and see what I find here. I'm going to actually see if maybe he had any more. Okay, that's not really breaking news, Sports Center, but anyway. So these two just going on and having a throw-out match. Obviously, just to pad the stats a little bit, whoever wins will win. To pull a John Madden, it's like, oh, nobody wants to lose. And all that stuff. Oh, it looks like I deleted the data from Twitter, because I just did a whole set of updates. You know what I hate? I have a Samsung Exhibit, which is like a $99 Walmart phone, and it has like a way lower amount of things you can do with it than like a regular smartphone. It's still a smartphone, but it's wow. He hasn't tweeted since July 16th, Al Snow, and that's really sad. Maybe I could find one that's really like way back here that I can find that maybe I haven't said before. Let's see. No, use that one. Okay, I guess that's... Okay, we could use that one, I guess. I don't think we've used that one before. So, 6 Frozone. I'm sorry this took so long, but I wanted to make sure I had it on tap and ready to go before we even got into this matchup. 6 representing himself primarily, both DX and the NWO. 6-Pac is a member of. Actually, the only member to have that accolade of being part of both factions is 6-Pac. He gets far too much heat than I think he deserves. Referee Jerry Jones assigned to this contest. And the first thing that Frozone does is leave the ring, which is not boding well on a drop kick by 6. And 6 is 40-something years old, like 44, 45. And he could still go like the rest of them. I'm really impressed with his athleticism. Nice gut-wrench suplex there, because I finally remember what the name of that is. And nice sweep counter by 6-Pac. Pac and Frozone. And Frozone, after turning on CIW and aligning himself with Packard, has just been not getting the reception that everyone really turned on him the same way he turned on everybody else. And it's disappointing in one respect, but in another respect, it's well deserved. I mean, I believed in Frozone. I loved Frozone. His first match with Packard was an instant classic. Nice gut wrench suplex again. It was an instant classic, and then he decided to join with Packard. It's just like, and now a very glitchy double knee to the back, almost a bow and arrow-esque maneuver, nicely done by Frozone, who has really gotten the better portion of this match thus far. And which one of these two men will win this opening contest of Gut Check number 7? And now it looks like raining down right hands into the skull of 6-Pac is Frozone. Only got 4 or 5 before Pac saved himself. And speaking of, give a couple storyline updates for Harvest Havoc. We are going to be seeing Noob Saibot in action next week. Oh, and there's the Incrediglitch already. And is that going to be it? No, it looks like he's not even going to go for a cover. But one Incrediglitch already down. Wario is going to be in action tonight. And Wario says that he's not done with Waluigi. Waluigi I talked to a couple weeks ago, and he says that he's just as determined as ever to get back at Wario and really take him to town, bring him to the limit that nobody, seemingly even Waluigi himself, has been able to do. So we will see how that happens. Wario be in action this week, Waluigi in action next week, where Waluigi will be taking on Johnny Cage this coming Tuesday, Conquest number 8. As of course we have our Money in the Bank going on, Money in the Bank qualifiers going on. We have the second one of our 5-man battle royals. The second one of those is going to be happening later on tonight in our main event. We will see another 5-man battle royal, another set of bow and arrows by Frozone, trying as much as he can to get 6-Pac to tap. But will Pac tap out here in his first singles competition here in CIW? This is the first Conquest appearance of 6, and Frozone going straight to the submissions. Third consecutive submission applied to 6, who's been utterly dominated here in this entirety of this match thus far. And now, if Frozone looks like he might be going for another Incrediglitch, and boy, it's as glitchy as ever, but here it comes, bam! Oh, and they're gonna replay that, and dead. And that could easily be it for 6. Could be a quick squash here. 1, 2, and wow. So, in a dominant effort from these two men, your winner is Frozone in an impressive victory. And I've been given word that Frozone might end up making once tonight, one of the 5-man battle royals, potentially either this tonight or next week. And I'm getting word that yes, he will be actually in. He could potentially be in one of the battle royals for the Money in the Bank. Now that very impressive showing, an utter squash. 6 got maybe 1 shot in, but he mostly had a couple counters, and that was it. Impressive outing by Frozone. Your winner, much to the dismay of these fans, is Frozone, but you can't help but be impressed. Frozone, a solid worker, always has been, probably always will be. But whether he is championship material remains to be seen. But congratulations to Frozone nonetheless. And with that said, let's move on to match 2. Eventually. Any day now. Oh, somebody forgot to edit that. So, anyway, it's not me, definitely, but, and wow, how to answer the call. Wario continuing his open challenge. This time the Grim Reaper himself has accepted the challenge of Wario. And let me give you some track records as far as that goes, as I write down the new stats for these fine individuals. We have Frozone, who is now improved to 7-5, and 6-Pac, who is now 0-2 in his CIW career, but that could always change, as Bruce Lee could tell you, as anyone could tell you. So, the next matchup we've got, Wario, since going on his warpath, is 7-2. One match that he lost, he betrayed Waluigi. The other was, I believe, a triple threat match in which he was just not on the winning equation of. Not that he didn't win. I think he just was the one who got pinned in that match, but that was a triple threat match a while ago. I'll have to look that up. I'll have to look that up, what the second match that he lost was. Because I know it hasn't been in the past few months, because Wario has been on an absolute dominant streak thus far, and here he comes. The gold mine man himself, Wario. His opponent, the Grim Reaper, definitely not as strong of an accolade at all. He is currently 3-5 in his career. One of those wins was the Redemption Battle Royal, in which, not Redemption, but the Redemption Battle Royal way back in the day. Back in, I think it was, might have been June or July of 2014, when we had a point system, and the bottom 6 men of that point system were then turned into, they had to survive, they had to earn points to survive, and the Grim Reaper ended up winning that Battle Royal. He also had a victory, I believe, as one half of Hellfire and Brimstone, 1 or 2 victories. I believe those are his only accolades, have been a couple victories here and there, but thus far has had a very lackluster career in contrast to his Hellfire and Brimstone counterpart, Satan, who is now a member of Redemption, of Jack Nation's Redemption. And Satan, just as a fun little stat, is 8-5 in his career, and we're going to have to see what happens with him. Redemption, from what I hear, they're going to have a show tomorrow, but I'm not entirely sure whether they're actually going to pull it off or not. And quite the reception here for the Grim Reaper. And will the Grim Reaper be able to answer the call and pick up a victory here against Wario, who has been on an absolute warpath? But the Grim Reaper is also dead, because he's, you know, the Grim Reaper. But who knows what we're going to see here between these two men. I think that as far as weight class goes, the Grim Reaper is probably the closest to Wario that he's faced since starting this crusade. Because when you think about it, Magus was a heavyweight. He was, you know, normal. Prince of Persia got absolutely dominated. The other Rangers were completely dominated. They were both light heavyweights. And I'm trying to think up of who else Wario fought. I could actually look it up. I know I have the thing here somewhere. Jimmy Corderas, who got absolutely manhandled at the hands of Wario, but then turned that around and became the first man to enter the Money in the Bank qualifying, the Money in the Bank match to take place at Harvest Havoc on October the 3rd. We're going to reveal where Harvest Havoc will be next week on Conquest on Tuesday. So stay tuned, because Harvest Havoc is going to be a tremendous pay-per-view. Great angle there by our cameramen. Good to know that CIW is paying these guys to have top-notch quality angles, ring ropes and all. I love watching CGI ring ropes. Look at that. Oh, look how beautiful that is. And they're even rotating. They're moving up and down. Thanks a lot, guys. Guys who don't even have to put the camera, so you can't even see his face when he takes off the hat. This is all very nice touches, guys. Nicely done. Way to really put in some quality coverage of that entrance. But this is what CIW is about. Remember our motto, CIW, not terrible. Because it could have been worse. It very well could have been worse. And it's a good thing that it wasn't, because that's what we try to do. We give you quality programming, and you know what? It's not about the entrances. It's about the matches. And that's really the important thing to remember, is it's always about the matches. That's what's really, what we try to focus on is the wrestling, because wrestling matters. And that is what we provide you, well, not 24/7, 365, but close enough to that where you're going to have a good time at least 3 times a week. And I'm not talking about Redemption. I'm talking about the 2 Conquests and, of course, Cut Check. And, oh, Wario starting out in typical Wario fashion with a massive running clothesline. And Wario starting out on his path of dominance. And it's a wonder whether the Grim Reaper will actually have the capacity to counter some of Wario's moves. Hopefully he's been doing his homework as far as some of the mannerisms that Wario enacts, which is pretty clear-cut in every one of his matches. He uses effectively the same few moves, like that running clothesline, but for as many moves as he uses, like the German suplex, that's one, Goldmine City. For as many German suplexes and stuff that he uses, he is absolutely dominant. Nice back suplex there, take a drink. And Wario just continuing on his dominant path, his dominant ways. And one has to wonder, if Wario weren't so focused and then went for looked like a side slam, countered into a Russian leg sweep. We would have to wonder if Wario wasn't so into this match with Waluigi and into this rivalry, whether he would actually enter himself into the Money in the Bank and how well he would fare. But as it stands, it is Wario Waluigi that we will be seeing at Harvest Havoc. He is not actually going to be in any one of the Battle Royals, but it seems like Wario's okay with that. And another backdrop. Take a drink. And Wario just completely dominant. We saw that choke, the choke to the throat of the Grim Reaper, and the Grim Reaper counters with an uppercut, but not before Wario gets his hands on that turnbuckle and right into the back. That is exposed steel, folks. And Wario just got a taste of it himself here. And uh-oh, what's the Grim Reaper gonna do? Grim Reaper snake eyes onto that exposed turnbuckle and a headlock takeover. Grim Reaper getting his bearings here after a dominant start by Wario. Oh, and a low blow. But you have to wonder, would a low blow even hurt the Grim Reaper? I mean, he is just bones. He doesn't really have flesh or genitalia as far as I'm aware. I mean, I'm not a doctor, so I don't have any plans of finding out. Another German suplex. And so far, this has been all Wario, save for that snake eyes into the corner. And another German suplex. That makes it 3. And Wario doing everything he can here. And what's he doing now? Going for... And he looks like he's trying to beg. Oh, God. And a low blow. And it must hurt the Grim Reaper because he went down like a bag of rocks. Now Wario just stomping away. Viciously stomping away at the Grim Reaper. And now 4 German suplexes. Wario not having any trouble at all going after the 400-pound epitome and personification of death. And now, oh, what's he doing here? Oh, into that exposed turnbuckle is driving the skull, literally the skull of the Grim Reaper into that steel turnbuckle. Referee Jerry Jones is really amused by what has gone down so far. Jerry Jones, probably not surprising that he's probably a fan of Wario. Obviously going to remain objective in the rest of this match. There's German number 5. And what will this mean for the rest of this matchup? And now, again, choking, pun intended, choking the life out of the Grim Reaper. But will this be enough for Wario to capitalize, going for... Referees count up to 3 before Wario ran out of gas. And this might be an opening for the Grim Reaper if he can capitalize. And nope. Wario just too dominant. And Wario now, look, what's he going for here? And oh, God! Going for a gold mine's edge, if you will. And a ridiculously powerful show of strength. That's 400 pounds of the Grim Reaper that he just took up and manhandled like a toy. And now a knee to the gut. And now, oh, a thumb to the eye. A stomp to the foot. And, oh my, what a DDT. And now Wario, what's he going to do here? What more could he do? The Grim Reaper down. The cover. Is it going to be over on that DDT? Referees count 2, and it's over. And Wario making a statement to the Grim Reaper and to Waluigi. Wario did not even use his finisher. He didn't need it to make that another dominant win for the man of the gold mine himself, Wario. And I'm not even impressed anymore. I'm just mortified. Every time he steps into the ring, it's like as soon as he steps into the ring, he changes. He's just turns into this sadistic human being. If you could even call him that. And I'm surprised that the Grim Reaper is even conscious right now after the beating that he just suffered at the hands of Wario. And that is something you would not expect to say and not expect to see happen to guys like Death. But Death's record now deteriorates to 3-6. Wario improves to 8-2. And is slowly approaching Aquaman for the next to reach 10 digits. Or double digits, rather. And here we go, the final match in our main event for this evening. Match 2 in our Money in the Bank qualifying match. Your participants are as follows, if you didn't see them then. Smoke, Symbiote Spider-Man, Johnny Cage, Simon Belmont, and the representation from the Shades of Black, Chrono. And here's an interesting thing to note, is that Chrono, after joining Shades of Black, has actually had less success as a performer than he did when he was just on his own, or when he was teaming up as part of Team Chrono Cross with Magus. But let me give you some stats. Let's give you the lowdown on these 5 participants. Smoke, who was the first XYZ champion in the history of CIW, in his career is 5-8, and has, ever since losing the title to Arthur Curry, has not been able to recover. Has had a set of classic matches with his rival Noob Saibot, both as a tag team partner and in singles competition. Then, moving right along, you have Symbiote Spider-Man, whose record is similar. His record is 6-8, with a CIW XYZ Championship opportunity that he was not able to capitalize on, but he also was in. It should be noted that Symbiote Spider-Man was in the previous Money in the Bank ladder match, and obviously that match was won by our current champion, Bruce Lee. But it's interesting to note that Symbiote Spider-Man has had success in this endeavor, in making it to this Money in the Bank match. So you have to wonder, if Symbiote Spider-Man does advance tonight, will he have the advantage going into the Money in the Bank at Harvest Havoc on October the 3rd? Moving right along, we have Johnny Cage. Here comes Smoke, speaking of. Johnny Cage, so far, in his CIW career, having an even more abysmal record at 3-9. Has won 3 matches, but he won those 3 matches in a row right before the August Asylum pay-per-view, where he came up just a little bit short in the Mortal Kombat Battle Royal, won by Noob Saibot. Then we move on to Simon Belmont, and Simon Belmont is 4-2. The only man in this 5-man Battle Royal with a winning record is Simon Belmont, and yet has never been able to win the big match, the match where it counts. Because Simon has said repeatedly that he is chomping at the bit for that title opportunity, but has never had that opportunity because he hasn't been able to win big when it mattered. So will he be able to turn his luck around tonight in this 5-man Battle Royal? And of course, Chrono, the first man in CIW to reach double-digit losses, is this man right here, Chrono. Representing the Shades of Black. And Chrono's record so far is 4-10. The only man to have lost consecutive matches. So many consecutive matches that he lost. 10 matches so far. No other CIW competitor has lost 10 matches in their career. The closest men to losing 10 matches are Smoke, Symbiote Spider-Man, Dave Chappelle at 8, Prince of Persia also at 8. But the 2 closest are actually Johnny Cage, who could potentially, if he gets pinned tonight, he will move to 10 losses. Johnny Cage, Noob Saibot at 9. Smoke, Symbiote Spider-Man, Prince of Persia, and Dave Chappelle all have 8 losses. Freddy Krueger, Eminem. Freddy Krueger and Eminem are then taking up the rear of that with 7 losses. And then there are several other superstars with 6. So there are a lot of It always seems like there's more losers than winners, weirdly enough, in CIW, but that's the way it seems to work, especially with battle royals like this, because there can only be one winner and there are 4 losers. So you have to kind of take that at face value, that there will be more losses in that respect when they're multi-man matches like this. So that's kind of the way that things roll. But great reception here for Johnny Cage. We are in Key West, Florida. Very beautiful place. It's been a lot of fun hanging out here at the Keys. We've all been getting sex on the beach, the drink, we've been getting the drink sex on the beach. We've been getting Mai Tais, we've been getting mojitos, and mimosas, and a bunch of other non-alcoholic drinks as well. It's been a very fun time to be a part of CIW. We have fun. We're a great set of people, and here comes Simon Belmont.
And the opponent from England, Scott.
Now, for some reason, I let Joey Schimmel get Simon Belmont's name out just because of what a huge pop and reception that Simon Belmont got, although I feel like Johnny Cage got a little bit better of a pop. But in any event, great to see Simon Belmont here. I think as far as winning this matchup goes, Belmont has to be the favorite because of his stature. He's probably the largest guy in this match. He also has the only winning record. Of all 5 men in this match, he's the only one with a winning record. And the rest are nearing the worst loss records of anybody in CIW history. So just based on statistics alone, it would seem like Simon Belmont was the favorite, but that's the fun thing about CIW is literally anything can happen at any time, so any one of these men could seize the opportunity to punch their way into that Money in the Bank Fatal 4-Way ladder match on October 3rd, Harvest Havoc. This is the third of 10 videos going up between the time that I set up Conquest this previous Tuesday and the pay-per-view on Saturday, that Saturday. So this is the third one, and up to this point, I've lived up to my word. And I'm happy that I've been able to do this for you guys. I've been happy that I've been able to make sure that everything has gone down the way that I've wanted it to go down. And this is going to be a great main event, and as always, now is the time for me to tell you guys that this main event has been sponsored by AB Productions. And here comes the man himself, Symbiote Spider-Man, who is the only person of anyone who's ever had this entrance theme. Ever. This is Symbiote Spider-Man's own creation. I don't know who the dude in yellow was, but this is definitely only for Symbiote Spider-Man. And another huge reception for this guy here. Tobey Maguire, who has really become fairly beloved since the 2 Spider-Man movies really tanked. The Amazing Spider-Man. I know that they were closer to the comic books, but they flat out sucked. I'm sorry. But I'm not sorry. Andrew Garfield, sure, he was a better Spider-Man and Tobey Maguire was a better Peter Parker. No, I think Tobey Maguire was pretty damn good. Yeah, did the 3rd movie suck? Yes. There hasn't been a good Spider-Man movie since Spider-Man 2. I'm not afraid to say that. However, Tobey Maguire, I think his career needs a resurgence. He's here, he's representing it, and I think that he needs to get into some big name movies here coming up. I really think that his acting talent deserves it. I don't count The Great Gatsby. It was a decent movie. Some people like it, some people don't. I thought it was kind of in the middle of the road. And I think that the reason for that is I never read the book. Which is pretty crazy because every high school ever teaches The Great Gatsby. I left my original high school to go to the high school that I graduated from right in this little gap period where I didn't have to read the book. I think it's kind of funny. And it's sad because, you know, I really should read the book. I feel I shouldn't judge the movie until I've read the book. I feel like that's probably a better way to do this. But here we go. That doesn't matter. This is what matters, and it is the Money in the Bank qualifier number 2. And this match getting off to a rather slow start. A punch to Belmont. Chrono now running as far away from Belmont as possible. Talk about a sucker punch, if ever there was one. And now Symbiote Spider-Man going to cover Chrono. Could be over for Chrono too quickly. And Chrono kicks out. And what a big boot to Johnny Cage by Belmont, who's starting out this match in a really powerful way. Backdrop into a backbreaker. How about a pair? And a set of knife-edge chops by Johnny Cage onto Symbiote Spider-Man. Senior referee Kevin James assigned to this contest. And who will be the man who will come out with this the winner? Only time will tell. And it's hard to do commentary when there's so much action going on in the ring, but obviously I will follow it to the best of my abilities. And looks like Johnny Cage and Belmont paired off there briefly. And Chrono has got Belmont into a fireman's carry, take a drink. And now going for a wrist lock into a shoulder takedown. Nicely done by Belmont. Gutbuster by Johnny Cage. One of these 5 men will make it to the Money in the Bank match. That ladder match at Harvest Havoc. And we've already seen somebody capitalize on that win. And that guy is our current champion, Bruce Lee. Who had a hell of a showing, I think. Oh, and Johnny Cage hits the "You Got Caged" very, very early in this matchup. And just a huge slap to Chrono, but Cage couldn't capitalize on that. Now the 2 Mortal Kombat veterans squaring off, and Smoke and Johnny Cage. And Chrono quickly on the chops to put in a sleeper hold. And notice how he scissors the legs to keep it so that the sleeper is really effective, and he's really keeping as much pressure on the head and the neck as he possibly can. Nicely done technique-wise by Chrono, and the strength of Johnny Cage just throwing Belmont across the ring. All 5 of these guys would love nothing more than to be one step closer to relevancy, to having their name validated in the CIW. And now Johnny Cage went for an edge-like maneuver, an outsider's or razor's edge, depending on your preference, obviously. The $500 sunglasses, if you will. Nice gut-wrench suplex by Smoke. All 5 of these guys chomping at the bit. As you've seen, I think you could see the determination when something like this, something of this magnitude is on the line. You could see the determination. You could see the intensity rise. You could feel it. It's palpable. And a beautiful backdrop by Symbiote Spider-Man, take a drink. Referee Kevin James obviously has his hands full in this one. And now a knee to the gut by Chrono onto Spider-Man. A match that we have really yet to see. Nice backbreaker there again by Simon Belmont. And no one has really gotten a huge advantage here thus far. Everyone kind of taking each other out, really feeling each other out. And a nice over-the-top gut-wrench suplex by Smoke. And a groin attack from Chrono onto Symbiote Spider-Man, take a drink. It looks like Cage has a Fujiwara armbar, a variant of such, onto Simon Belmont. And these 5 men, obviously not playing with kid gloves. They're going to do whatever it takes to win, which is the mentality you have to have going into a match like this. And a thumb to the eye by Chrono. And Chrono, I often wonder if Chrono regrets joining the Shades of Black, because it really hasn't helped his career at all. Beautiful German suplex, though, onto Belmont by Chrono. And a double shoulder block. Groin attack by Cage onto Smoke, take a drink. And now Chrono, looks like Chrono going to be going for the Chrono Trigger. Got it. Rolls up Cage. Could Cage be the first man eliminated? The cover, 2, and no. 2 count only. And the match continues. And it looks like we might be seeing a castle crumbler here by Belmont onto Smoke, and he lands it. Beautifully executed. Could Smoke be the first eliminated? The cover onto Smoke, 2, and 3. Smoke has been eliminated. And we are down to 4 men. In Cage, Spider-Man, who's desperately trying to dropkick Chrono as he's being lifted by Simon Belmont. No dice there. And then a slap to Belmont, and Tobey Maguire flailing, trying to get any move in on anybody he can. And now an Irish whip by Cage into the corner, and Chrono getting in the way of Belmont's run. Belmont's run. And now looking to hit him. Chrono now going to throw in some close fist punches on the Johnny Cage. Belmont and Spider-Man pairing off. And one of these four men... Oh my god! And inside out goes Spider-Man after an incredible... What a clothesline by Simon Belmont. Unmedicated strength and power by the Castle Crumbler, the Castlevania native, in Simon Belmont. And I have to go back and remember the nickname we gave him, because it was so funny, and I cannot remember what it is. But if one of you guys beats me to it, feel free to leave it in the comments. You will receive something. I don't know yet. And Chrono with a beautiful full Nelson Fisherman's on the Cage, and almost 3, only 2, near fall. Cage kicks out in the nick of time. And how that phrase came about, in the nick of time, like how that got going. But what a beautiful running knee. Shades of Daniel Bryan emphatically. And now a bridge German into a pin onto Spider-Man. Could Spider-Man be out? Yes, he is! Chrono got the jump on Spider-Man with that German suplex into a bridge and got the pin on Symbiote Spider-Man. So we have 3 remaining men in Johnny Cage, Simon Belmont, and Chrono. And which one will be the last man standing and make it into that Money in the Bank championship match? Or have the opportunity for a championship match. But a Castle Crumbler is not going to help Chrono's chances in the slightest. And the cover onto Chrono. No rope breaks in this one. Count only 1. Chrono only a 1 count. An impressive kick out by Chrono and a front face lock. Nicely executed by Johnny Cage. Not enough to get Chrono to tap out on this encounter. And a clothesline by Johnny. And I think Johnny really, of anybody who really wants this, I think Johnny's got a ton of passion, but a Chrono trigger is not going to help his chances. Is Cage going to get eliminated by a second Chrono trigger, and he's done. So our final 2 men are Simon Belmont and Chrono of the Shades of Black. And God, I really hope that it's not the Shades of Black, because they already own 3 titles. Think about that. Aquaman has 3 championships, or Aquaman has the XYZ championship, and the Shades of Black have held the tag team championships since August of last year, after the whole Team Mischief maneuver, and now a Dragon Sleeper, a standing Dragon Sleeper. Is that going to get Belmont to tap out? No, but was it enough to put him to sleep? Cover 2, 3! And so, there is a possibility now that the Shades of Black will own all 4 titles in CIW. And that's a scary thought. But he's going to have to win that ladder match first. But something of, I would say, an upset by Chrono, who picks up his 5th win ever. Johnny Cage makes it to the double-digit loss list. And Simon Belmont moves to 4-3. And your Al Snow tweet of the day, because I did that mistakenly, and I already lost it, so I guess we're not going to do that. My name is The Colonist. We'll put 2 on Tuesday. We'll see you next time.